Hey friends, welcome back to the Aligned Strength Podcast. I'm your host, Mandy Scow. And today's episode number 41, is going to be our last episode for this year, the year of 2025. We started the Aligned Strength Podcast back in February, I think. And I've been posting podcasts weekly, some with guests, some without. And it's been a really great year for getting messages out, finding new information out from some great guests on our podcast. And our goal for 2026 is to have at least 20 guests on throughout the year, and still consistently publish and share an episode every week. So thank you all for tuning in this year. If you haven't caught all the episodes, there's 41 episodes out there, and you can find them on whatever you're listening to now, whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, or YouTube. So again, thank you for tuning in this year to the episodes. And today's episode is going to feel a little bit more different because I'm going to be talking about life lessons this past year that I've had to learn. Life lessons that have taught me things throughout the year. So a recap on that. And some of these lessons I have learned not necessarily the hard way, but just learned in a way that, was different for me. And some things I had to relearn, and some I'm still practicing. This isn't about what I achieved at all this year, but it's about what I filtered in, what I let go of, and what I finally started listening to. So wherever you're at, if you're driving, walking, stretching, or just needing a moment, let's reflect together. Lesson number 1, consistency is quiet and it works. With that meaning that one thing this year made very clear, consistency isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't feel exciting every day. It's all about showing up. Consistently showing up for anything you do, not just fitness, just for anything, for your kids, for your job, for anything. There were plenty of days that I didn't feel motivated, days I felt tired, days I felt full. But the days I showed up anyway, those mattered more than the days I went all in. So stay consistent. Consistency is huge. Showing up one day and then not showing up for a week, 2 weeks, and then showing up again and going all in, it's small, consistent. And that applies to everything, whether it's fitness, business, relationships, faith, your family, everything. So the lesson, you don't need to go harder or louder or make it known. You just need to keep going. Lesson number 2, I had to learn what to filter in my life. Not everything deserves energy. Not everything deserves my energy, your energy. Not everything deserves your energy. So this year really taught me to filter what I should let in, whether that was opinions, noise, pressure, expectations. Filtering them and taking what was going to use my energy in a good way. So just because someone says something confidently doesn't mean it's meant for you. Not everything is meant for you. I learned to pause and ask myself, does this align with me, or am I just absorbing it out of habit? Along with that, I learned to pause and go through all the feels. So when something was presented to me, I had to pause and ask myself, like, normally I would be like instantly like, yes, that sounds amazing. Let's do it, without pausing and going through all the feels of it. So this past year, I really learned to pause, ask the question, take time to think it all the way through, and decide if it was for me by getting excited, having that exciting feeling, but then really thinking about it like, okay, is this going to completely drain me and not even not bring me joy? Going through all the feels. How is this going to affect me or my family? So filtering out, it's not shutting out people or shutting out things. It's protecting your peace. So when it came down to it, like I really learned to learn how to filter what I take in or what I take on. So that was lesson number 2, filtering what I take in, what I take on. Pausing, reflecting. Lesson number 3, listen to that inner voice, or not inner. Listen to that inner voice and seriously listen to it. Listen to it and don't fight against it. I feel like I was really good about like fighting against my own inner voice and not listening to it. So listening to the inner voice and following what it's telling you. So everyone has an inner voice. This year I really learned to finally listen to it. And everyone knows that feeling. You know that feeling when something feels good on paper or looks good on paper, but your gut is screaming, don't do it. Or, you have that gut feeling, your gut knows. And you hear that all the time. Like people say it all the time, listen to your gut. This year reinforced that inner voice always knows first in many different situations. And if you're getting the warning signs, the hesitation, the tightness, the anxiety, resistance, listen to it. Ignoring intuition always costs more than trusting it. Your body and spirit will tell you when something isn't aligned, when it's not aligned for you. Everyone knows that feeling in your gut when something doesn't feel right. And it just goes back to trusting your gut. Trust your gut. Lesson number 4, letting go of control changed everything for me. Letting go of control. I mean, this is a big one. This is a big one for a lot of people. Trying to control outcomes, timelines, people, it's exhausting. You can't control other people. You can't control a timeline because it's not on your time. It's under a higher power's time. And just letting go of that control. And honestly, for me, most of my stress this past year came from holding on too tightly. And that hasn't even been this year, but it was the eye opener for this year for me in many ways. It's always been just letting go and trusting. So when I loosened my grip and trusted the process this past year, trusted God, because that's who the higher power is that I trust, whoever you trust, whatever higher power you believe in. But when I loosened the grip and trusted the process, things didn't fall apart. They actually flowed better. And again, that went back to that went hand in hand with listening to that inner voice, because there was a few times this past year with big things that came up for me, and I was fighting my inner voice because I couldn't let go of the control. So, letting go of that control, listening to my inner voice, and trusting, and then it would flow faster. So letting go didn't mean giving up. Doesn't mean giving up. It meant trusting that I didn't have to force what wasn't meant for me. Believing if it's meant for me, it won't pass. Both on the other side of it, but on the other side of it, if it's not meant for me, if it's not meant for me, don't force it. Let go of the control. So even though I think that, I thought, oh, this would be so amazing. This would be so fun. But it's not meant for you. It's not meant for you, Mandy. So just let it go. Don't try and make it work when it's not meant for you. There's a reason why your gut's telling you to walk away. So walk away. It's not meant for you. And if it is, it's going to come to you with ease. So letting go of that control, and moving on. Here, lesson number 5, opportunities will always come. Flowing right into one thing to the next. This one, opportunities will always come, was a big mindset shift for me this year. Opportunities will always come, but not all of them are meant for you. Not all of them were meant for me. Just because something is available doesn't mean it's aligned. Just because it looks good doesn't mean it's right. There were opportunities I passed on this year that, like, in the past, I might have jumped on it out of fear of losing out, fear of missing out on it, fear of saying no, fear of the door closing. But realizing that, yes, there's opportunities that will always come, but again, they're not always meant for you. Just because you close. So I finally would say no and fight back against what my intuition is telling me because it's not meant for me. I'm saying no. It doesn't mean it's closing all doors for all opportunities. Because you closed that door, it opened up other opportunities. And there was like a big shift in that this year for me. Something came up that could have been great for me and our family, but now I look back and it would have been a freaking nightmare if I would have done it, if we would have done it. But then, I closed that chapter, got that out of my head, and, it opened up another door, which ended up being me now working in the school district a few hours a day, working with kids that I'm absolutely loving and training female athletes at the school. And it's just it opened that door, which wouldn't have been there. And that came to me with ease. So that is clearly what and where, I'm supposed to be besides running the gym. So what I learned that when you let an opportunity pass that isn't aligned for you, you're creating new space for what is meant for you. And every single time another opportunity came that fit better, it felt lighter. And it felt more aligned and more deeply with who I am now. It aligned deeply with who I am now. So if it's meant for you, it won't pass you up. You won't miss out on it if it's meant for you. Lesson number 6, faith over fear. Over and over again. Fear is loud. Faith is quiet. And this year required choosing faith even when I didn't have all the answers. Fear asks, what if it doesn't work out? That's the fear in you asking yourself, what if it doesn't work out? But then faith is saying, what if it does? Faith didn't mean everything was easy. It meant trusting even when I couldn't see the whole picture. So again, lesson 6, faith over fear, over and over. I said that over and over in my head all the time, right when our oldest got his license in August. And so, like, faith over fear, like in a few coaching sessions with my life coach, there's a few times that she said, you need to put faith over your fear. You are not in control of what happens. You can't control anything that happens. Put faith over fear. Lesson number 7. Simple is refreshing. And as I get older, do I love simplicity over and over. Simple is so refreshing. Somewhere along the way, we overcomplicate everything. We overcomplicate fitness. We overcomplicate nutrition, life, healing. I think we have a podcast for fitness as far as going back to the basics. A full same, thing. We overcomplicate. We overcomplicate with all these huge, complicated workouts or complicated fitness moves. And it goes back to the basics and being simple. A simple lunge, simple squat, simple press and curl. They all work. Stuff doesn't need to be complicated. Or like nutrition, all these fancy meals that nobody has time for to make, healthy meals. Well, you can go healthy with 3 ingredients in like 3 pieces to it can be so simple. It doesn't need to be so complicated. This year reminded me that simple works. Simple routines, simple meals, simple goals, simple joy. When things felt heavy, simplifying it brought clarity for me. More isn't always better. Aligned is better. More isn't always better. Aligned is better. Simplicity. My business coach, I just had a conversation with yesterday. We recapped on a lot of things because we were talking about our goals for next year and my business goals. And, and we just had a guest speaker on our business coaching community page, and she was talking about her journey and what she needed to do, and it really resonated with me because in my business I'm spread thin, I feel, in the business because I'm doing all these things, right? So it's like we talked about narrowing it down to what really fills my cup and I love to do, and what necessarily, it's not that it's not working, it's just that things that I've been doing and been working on don't bring me the most joy. It's sucking out energy and it's not like positive energy, right? So just shifting things, figuring out and shifting what to focus on and what to kind of let go of or step back a little bit on and simplify for 2026. So we had a full conversation on, what brings me joy in the business, which ultimately comes down to working in the gym, teaching people in person, working in the school weight room, teaching female athletes in person, all coming down to just in person, back to the basics, simple, where I started. So simple is refreshing. Again, more isn't always better. Aligned is better. Doing what's aligned for me is better. Lesson number 7, sleep is non-negotiable. Let's talk about sleep. This year made it very clear. Sleep isn't optional. You can eat well, you can move your body, you can pray, you can journal, you can meditate. But if you're exhausted, everything feels harder. Sleep affects your mood. Sleep affects your hormones, your patience. It affects your healing. Getting enough rest isn't lazy. It's foundational. So I have a timer set on my phone, like an alarm telling me when to go to sleep, when to shut everything off and make my way to my room to start my nighttime wind down routine. And also with that, trying to get into a routine of waking up at the same time every day. But getting 7 to 8 hours, like closer to 8 hours. My goal is 8 hours every single night. And I've worked all year on that. That was one of my goals for this year. And the lesson from it was it's not negotiable. Like I can tell a huge difference if I don't do that normal routine, don't get that same amount of sleep. And especially for myself or other women my age who are premenopausal, that plays a huge part in it too. And so if I want to function at my best in anything that I'm doing, like sleep is huge. And it's not just for me. This is for everyone. So my lesson to myself, yes, huge lesson. Sleep is huge. And I would say if everybody else can get on a good sleep routine, it makes life so much better, so much more functional for you. Lesson number 8. You can be strong and soft at the same time. I used to think strength meant pushing. This year taught me that strength also looks like slowing down. Like the strength of telling yourself to slow down. You can lift heavy and still be gentle on yourself. You can be disciplined and still be compassionate. Strength isn't always force. Sometimes it's awareness. Lesson number 9. Progress doesn't always look like moving forward, like you're going forward. Progress doesn't always mean forward. Some seasons felt like nothing was moving. But looking back, those were the moments things were actually realigning. Progress pauses. Growth circles back. Healing layers. Just because it feels quiet doesn't mean that you're stuck. If things aren't moving or you don't feel like they're moving forward in the right direction, it doesn't mean that there's not progress. Everything is aligning and realigning around you to be able to get ready for you when you do start moving forward again. So there's a lot of seasons, parts of the year that you're not moving or things aren't moving, you might not see that they are, but they are. And that was a big thing that I learned and was an eye-opener to me a couple times this year when I felt like frustrated, like this isn't going on, but in hindsight, it was working behind what I could see. And then things aligned and for when I was ready. Lesson number 10. You are allowed to change. You as a person, you are allowed to change. This final lesson for 2025, you're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to want different things. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to outgrow old versions of yourself. Growth doesn't mean you failed before. It doesn't mean that you failed before. It means you're listening now. You're learning from it and you're listening now. And adding something to that really important here is letting go of the constant quote unquote, I should be doing this or I should be doing that. That word should carries so much pressure. This past year taught me that just because something looks like the logical next step or what you think you're supposed to do doesn't mean that it's aligned and meant for you. If a change feels good in your body, if it brings relief instead of resistance, that's a sign. One of my life coaches, I have numerous coaches, guys. One of my life coaches has said to me for years, every time I ask or bring up something to her, she's like, "Well, how do you feel? Is that a hell yes? Because if it's not, then it's a no. If you don't feel that hell yes, I want to do that, then it's a no." So if you feel that resistance, then that's a sign. So if a change feels good in your body, if it feels like relief instead of resistance, that's a sign too. If you feel relief doing it, there's your sign. Following your heart, following your intuition, and following your guides, even when it leads you somewhere different, it's not wrong. Following that relief, following that good intuition, even though your mind is telling you, that's not what I was planning. That's not what I was thinking. That's not what I should be doing. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. You need to follow your heart, follow your intuition, follow your guides, because when it leads you in that different path, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong. You don't have to justify growth that feels right. Change isn't something to fear. Change is good. So again, removing the I should be doing this or I should be doing that from your mind. Because again, that goes back to the whole control. I should be doing this because, you're controlling it. You need to let go of the control. You need to let go of the I should be doing this or I should be doing that, because your higher power knows your path. They have a plan for you, and you just need to step back and trust it. So all of this is all things that really played a big part in my year. And I'm going to run through these lessons again. So these were my life lessons from 2025, and hopefully you all that are listening can take a little bit from this. But my lesson number 1, consistency is quiet. And when it's quiet, it works. Lesson number 2, I had to learn what to filter in. Lesson number 3, listen to that inner voice. Lesson number 4, let go of control. And when you let go of control, everything changes. Lesson number 5, opportunities will always come. Lesson number 6, faith over fear. Over and over and over again. I probably say that in my head numerous times a day. Faith over fear. Lesson number 7, simple is refreshing. Simplify. Lesson number 7, sleep is non-negotiable. Get enough sleep. Lesson number 8, you can be strong and soft at the same time. Lesson number 9, progress doesn't always look like forward. Progress happens even when everything pauses around you. You're still making progress. Lesson number 10, you are allowed to change. So as you reflect on this year, don't rush into the next year. Don't rush. Take what serves you. Release what doesn't. Trust what you felt. And remember, alignment doesn't always feel chaotic. It feels calm. Thanks for being here, for doing this episode with us and doing the podcast with us this last year, and for choosing to grow with intention. I'm your host of the Align Strength podcast, Mandy Scow, and we are here to align and strengthen through mind, body, and spirit. I'll see you in the next episode. See you in 2026. Bye-bye. Hey, y'all, the information shared in this podcast is for educational and motivational purposes only and is not intended to replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.